Hello everyone, and welcome to the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world show made for the fans by a fan. I am your host as always, Richard Team, and this is the award-winning Fan Show. However, more importantly, this is part 3 of our weekly mini-series for the College Gridiron Showcase. That's right, CGSAllstar.com is where you can find the information for the event happening in Fort Worth, Texas, January 5th through the 9th. And there is also a free agent showcase happening the day before that. So if you're a free agent looking to get back into the NFL, CFL, or even that new AAF, possibly XFL, then you gotta do this. I mean, look, Jose is not only a great friend of mine, but he's someone who I respect above all in this sport, business, industry. I don't know what you would call it, but the man is always about putting people before himself. He really is. That's what the showcase is for. I mean, it's for college seniors. It's your first combine-esque event of the calendar year. So the second that, college regular season and bowl season is done, he's having this. So you're fresh, you're active, you're in the right mindset, you're looking at your career, you're looking at what can I do to put myself over. And that's what the showcase is essentially for. And Jose has done that. He's put young players looking to develop and get to that next level that maybe feel that they have been overlooked or didn't do enough or get the opportunity to do enough. He is giving them that opportunity at the College Gridiron Showcase. Now, it's not just him. I can't say that he's solely responsible for it. Him and Craig Red, who we heard from on the last one. We didn't have one last week because of Thanksgiving, and Jose said that was fine. But here we are. We are back, and we are going to get to know even more about this event. This episode kind of takes a little bit of a different approach because there's a lot of things that go overlooked at something like this, at the Super Bowl, at just really any regular game. The amount of people that are working behind the scenes, and that some maybe products or things happening or that are present that people don't exactly realize the impact that they have. So today's weekly special for the College Gridiron Showcase features Ed Terris. He is the VP of Marketing for KT Tape, the product that was on Tom Brady's thumb in last year's Super Bowl that is on athletes around the world, and that is becoming more and more of a staple for athletes that are looking to cut down their recovery time, whether it's a muscle strain or even so much as like an ACL tear or just soreness. And so he goes into great depth and detail. It was a fantastic conversation, very educational, very informative. If you're an athlete and you feel like you're always sidelined because you have issues with your body or your muscles, listen to this, because he is going to give you the full and complete rundown of not only how it works, but why you should use it. And they will be at the College Gridiron Showcase. They're going to be holding, little mini seminars, and they're also going to be helping players get taped up with this product that's been around for decades, but you probably don't notice the tape on a man's thumb in a Super Bowl. However, you look at people that do marathons, beach volleyball. These were examples because these are events where people probably have minimal amount of clothing on. So you can see a lot of the parts of the body that are exposed that would have such a product such as KT tape. So Ed Terris, great conversation, as I said, and normally this is the portion of the show where I say this episode and this mini-series is brought to you by KT Tape, and I do some spiel, but this whole episode is about KT Tape, so we might as well, without any further ado or any more delay, hop right to it. Don't forget to follow College Gridiron Showcase on all the major social media platforms. They are on Twitter and Facebook at CGS All-Star, and if you're a player, if you're a college senior, and your future looks a little hazy because you don't know if you got enough exposure or if you performed at your best when the opportunities were there. Life gives you second chances, and College Gridiron Showcase is a second chance for you. If you're a free agent and you feel like you've exhausted all options, guess what? We've got one more option for you, and that's the free agent event at the College Gridiron Showcase. So That's my soapbox. I have beaten this drum and will continue to do so until the big event coming up first week of January 2019, starting off with a bang. So excited to spend a week in Fort Worth, Texas amongst young talent, players, coaches, and scouts alike. And that's another thing, is that there will be keynote speakers. The head scout of the Dallas Cowboys will be at the College Gridiron Showcase holding a seminar on what it is that scouts are looking for when it comes to drafting young players. This is free knowledge, folks. I mean, yeah, you pay to register to go down there and perform and do workouts and one-on-one, drills and practices. But the seminars are like a bonus. They're throwing info at you to educate you on taking it to the next level. So that's all I'm going to say about the matter. Enjoy my conversation with VP of Marketing for KT Tape, Ed Terris. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is number 3 of these College Gridiron Showcase weekly specials that we're doing. And now you've heard me talk about them on the show as we discuss our partners and sponsors for this. KT Tape being the big one, and here's the man who is the VP of Marketing and Sales, Ed Terris. Ed, welcome. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you very much for letting me be on with you.
Yeah, Jose speaks very highly of you and your product. In fact, the first one of these that we did, the part 1 of our weekly special for the showcase, he said, we're proud to have such a great partner and sponsor in KT Tape, and it's a product that was on Tom Brady's thumb in last year's Super Bowl, and he giggled about it, but obviously it probably means a bit more for you knowing that. I mean, what's it like to see your product out there in action on a stage like the Super Bowl?
Well, first, let me just say thanks to Jose. I appreciate that. Those are nice words and kind words about not only myself but the company, and we really appreciate that. When a high visible athlete such as Tom has it on, it's just incredible for our company and what it does as far as awareness. And the public now can see it and see that the tape does really work and is used by a high visible athlete such as Tom.
And of course, things like tape, icy hot, things like that, athletes use all the time because, muscles are going to be muscles. They're going to cramp up. They're going to wear out. They're going to stretch and bend and everything. What is it that makes your product so special that you have obviously gone all in on with it and now you've seen it pay dividends for you?
With the tape, it's all to do with the stretch and the recoil. So if you've got any soft tissue injuries, ligaments, tendons, muscles, joints, you put the area on stretch, you put the tape on stretch. When the tape comes, or you come back to neutral, there's a wrinkling of the skin. It pulls the skin away so you hydrate better and then supports you like a brace. So again, wherever you've got that soft tissue injury, it's helping in those areas to brace you as well as try to help heal within that area.
So obviously you had Tom Brady wearing it in last year's Super Bowl. What other kind of athlete testimonials have you gotten regarding your product? Because clearly, when an athlete or a public figure likes something, they will let the world know because they have the platform to do so. But what's been some positive feedback and comments you've gotten from the world of sports?
Well, again, the reason you're seeing the tape, typically with a soft tissue injury, if you go to, a therapist or a doctor, they're going to have you sit out 6 to 8 weeks so that your body will naturally heal itself with those types of injuries, or they can put you in a sling or a boot or something like that. So the thing that's making the tape very popular is you're able to wear the tape while healing and keep you in the event. So again, that's why you're seeing it on these professional athletes because, important games or important events that they're involved in, they don't want to have to sit out and not participate in that. So you're seeing it a lot in the Olympics, obviously, because these Olympic athletes don't want to sit out. They work very hard for this sometimes once in a lifetime opportunity. Only comes around every 4 years, so they don't want to sit out. So you see it on a lot of the Olympic athletes as well as professional athletes. But again, the tape can be used by anyone that has a soft tissue injury.
Yeah, I feel like whichever sport has the smallest window of opportunity. You mentioned the Olympics only comes around, once every 4 years. And obviously those athletes, they don't want to miss their opportunity and have to wait another 4 because you don't know, in that amount of time, what's going to change if you're even going to get back to that same level that you were and compete again. And then, of course, I'd say probably the next one is got to be football with its limited season of 16 games, and then of course a postseason. But football, man, I tell you hurt yourself with an ACL tear or something like that in week 1 or 2, or even late preseason, you're done for the entire season. Now baseball and basketball, a little different. It can still have quite the impact on your season. But yeah, I think your product is probably one sought after by those small window athletes as well as just athletes in general. So Olympics, football, any other sort of, one-offs, some odd applications of the tape of maybe a profession or a hobby that you didn't expect that you've heard back from someone in that area?
Like I said, there's several areas, and it's when you talk about the sports, and the biggest thing there is as far as it being seen. And so again, you'll see it on a lot of the beach volleyball professional players because they wear very little, so you're able to see the tape. The tough thing about football is there are a lot of players wearing the product. You just can't see it because of the uniforms, the helmets, so forth, that it's hard to see the product unless it's on, say, one of their forearms or something like that. But again, it can be used across the board, regardless of the sport, regardless of what you're doing. But many of these, we've heard, again, a lot of yoga's using it, a lot of the outdoor athletes as far as climbing, hiking, CrossFit, that kind of thing. And so it goes across the board of all of these different areas that it can be used.
What about something like a first responder? Any sort of testimonials from that area? There's been a lot, of course, wildfires and natural disasters going on the last couple of years, and so there's been kind of a focal point of that profession, the first responder, firefighter, ambulance driver, and so on. Anything from that area that your product has helped?
Absolutely, and again, I'm glad you brought that up. A lot of these first responders, when you look at it again, amazing athletes, if you want to use the word, athletic. These are people that put themselves in extreme conditions. And yes, we have our product that many of those first responders that are hitting those fires because of, again, all of the things that they're doing and what they're putting their body through. And so under their uniforms and under their gear, they've got KT tape.
Wow, does something like that, is that like a moment of personal pride? Like I understand the seeing Tom Brady use your product on a stage like the Super Bowl, but knowing, that kind of lifestyle of a first responder and what's asked of them, and to know that your product is helping in any way that it can to help them help other people. I mean, what is that feeling like for you as a VP of a product in a business?
That's one of the greatest things of the job, and you can probably hear kind of the passion in my voice that I have about the product, because again, it isn't something that we're just trying to sell and get it to the masses as soon as possible, because it's a fad product or something like that. But on a daily basis, we'll receive information that would actually change lives from, elderly people that were not getting out of their homes because of a knee injury or their back pain or something like that. And we've been able to get product on them, and now they're out visiting their grandkids, from first responders, that are out there doing it. And again, like you said, from the high-end athletes that we see it on and the differences that it's making there. It really is one of those products that just, at the end of the day, it makes you feel good that you're involved with it and that you're changing people's lives.
Yeah, I think obviously any chance you have to help impact or change a life for the positive is got to be a very great experience. I've had a few moments myself here. It's a little harder in media. I mean, how do you change somebody's life with an interview? But, it can be done. So for you, For you, how does one get into the tape business? I imagine it's sort of a series of events where you started out pursuing one line of work, maybe one revolutionary product idea as maybe an inventor, and then dominoes fell as they were, or did you always know that you were going to get into the tape business?
No, it was one of those type things that I actually, one of my sons was playing for in high school, and they had a fundraiser where they did a golf tournament, and I actually won one of the holes, and the winning prize there was a roll of KT tape. So that's when I first came involved with it, and like I said, my son was a running back, and so he had, dings all the time. So I started looking at the product, put it on him. He went to practice. The next day he came back, and of course Johnny wants a roll, and Freddie wants a roll, and so forth. And so I thought I ought to check into it to see before I start taping up the whole team. So as I checked into it, found the company, found they were actually in my city. As I was talking to one of the founders that I had called in and talked to, he invited me to come in and chat with him. And at that point, the rest is kind of history. So that was 8 years ago when I got with them. And like I said, it's just kind of grown from there, that it's something that, again, I just have a real passion for because of the product and for what it's doing for people.
Now, obviously, there is a lot of science to a product like this because, it can't just be tape is tape. I mean, we have Scotch tape, which is universally known and used, and not a whole lot has changed except for maybe how it's dispensed. Desks, I have the hand one for when I wrap Christmas presents that goes on the top of my hand. It makes it easier. But for you guys, yours is about the science, how it helps the human body and the muscles. So I don't know how much advancement there can be with a product that in the eyes of the public probably seems rather simple. But for you guys, what's it like in the think tank, in the room there where you guys are trying to think of ways to improve your product? Is it application? Is it areas, professions that it can be used in? Or is it trying to make it work even better than it already does?
Well, as the tape first came out, the tape's been around for about 40 years. And the original tape was a cotton product. And again, with the tape, it's all about the stretch and the recoil. If you'll think about your Scotch tape, your duct tape, the white athletic tape, that's all a very much static tape and has one purpose for it. And that's holding something static. With the kinesiology tape, it's all to do with the stretch and the recoil. So as you take one of the pieces and you crack the backer paper, you'll notice there's a great stretch to this tape. So that stretch is the science behind it, because what it's basically doing is it's again, stretching the skin. It's pulling that skin away so that you hydrate better, and then holding you as a brace would. And so as we've looked at this, we now have a family of tape. So we've got our cotton product, which has been around for 40 years. We've got another product called Gentle. And the Gentle product is for anyone that has sensitive skin, your pediatrics, geriatrics, someone like that we don't want to damage their skin at all with a high abrasive kind of adhesive. So that's the Gentle. Then we have what we call our Pro Synthetic. Our Pro Synthetic is a synthetic product. We get a better stretch and a recoil. It has a better adhesive on it. So this one stays on 7 to 9 days. You can shower, you can swim. Again, the longer you can keep the product on, the better it is to help heal that area. And then we've got our final product that we just came out with is called Extreme. So if anybody's a triathlete, a tough mudder, they're in water a lot, high humidity, your feet, because they sweat a lot, then you go, or like you said, the first responders, where they're in extreme conditions. So this is an extreme tape that's made for those kind of conditions. So that's our family and products of tapes. And then outside of that, we've done a few other products just in the health and well-being area, just to try to help, improvement as far as recovery.
Well, it certainly sounds like you guys have quite the variety pack there, which I think is important. You mentioned Tough Mudder. I know some people that take their Tough Mudders very seriously, Spartan races as well, and I'm sure that they either know about your product or they know of a product like it, and probably are very thankful for it. And, of course, you mentioned the, how you got into it, young athletes, sort of Little League Pop Warner, and it brings us to sort of the, meat of today's conversation, young athletes, the College Gridiron Showcase. And I would imagine that a product like yours can probably help the longevity of an early career if applied appropriately and used for what it's supposed to be used for. I mean, we're not turning back the hands of time, but muscles be what they are. I imagine if well taken care of, you can probably add some extra years to your potential career. So how'd you get involved with Jose and the CGS, and what's it like to see these young athletes firsthand and, before they get on the big stage?
There's a lot of different conferences, events, marathons, that type of thing that KT Tape will go to, and we'll set up a booth and work that way at the different events. And I believe that's where I first met Jose, and we just kind of struck up a conversation, and he, let me know of this one that he runs. And so I think this will be my fourth one that I've been able to do with him, but just, he puts on an excellent program. It's amazing to see these kids and the opportunities they have to move on to the next level. And we're just really happy that we've been able to be involved in it. And like I said, Jose has just been a great host for us and allowing us to be there, allowing us to not only showcase the tape, but get it on any of those that may need it while they're there so that they're able to perform their best and showcase their opportunity for the next level.
And I imagine that, a product like yours, you look at the world of sports and athletics in general, and there's probably a lot of, common knowledge things out there, protein shakes, power bars, things like that, stuff that's shortcuts, if you will, kind of like your tape with the fast healing and how it's applied and what it's supposed to do for the body. But, when you do an event like this, I don't know if you have like a seminar or like, little meetings with players that you do throughout the event, but how many, are completely oblivious to tape and what it does, and then what's it like to go over all the benefits of it with them and just completely rock their world, as an athlete?
Yeah, it used to be that the tape was one of those things that not a lot of people knew about. Over the last several years, we've been able to get out and obviously touch a lot of people, be in a lot of events. Tom Brady, Tiger Woods, the British Open, having it on his neck. Those kind of things have made it kind of a household name, so to speak, where people have seen it. But again, that overall feeling of, is it for me, may not be there, just because they look at it as, it's for an upper end athlete, or it's strictly for volleyball, or it's strictly for this, or it's strictly for that. So it's just really an eye opener anytime that I can, sit in front of an individual, and regardless of whatever event they're involved in, I'll say to them, well, do you do that pain free? Because typically they'll tell you, well, I'm not injured. That's a big thing that people will say right off the bat is, well, I'm not injured. And as you talk to them about the event, they'll say, well, do you do your event pain free? Well, no, I don't. And by the end, my knee hurts, or my neck hurts, or my shoulder, or, the bottom of my foot, wherever it might be. So as we talk through that with them and they're able to tell them, okay, well, this is what the product's for, and it's going to help with that area. It's just amazing to watch their eyes and see them open up to it, to say, you know what, why haven't I been using this? This is amazing that this product's here, but I haven't been using it. So that's kind of the area that we're in right now, is just an educational for the general public that the tape can be used on any soft tissue injury.
So when you're at an event, I guess specifically the College Gridiron Showcase, before games, boxing matches and things like that, they have a room and they have a person that where they're getting taped up at. So will that be something that you and your product do at this event? Each morning you wake up, you set up your booth, and you tape up the athletes. That way, not only is it product placement, but you're helping out with what the purpose of the KT tape is supposed to do.
Yeah, so at the Gridiron, we're actually we're set up, so we're there while they're eating meals and while they're doing other things that obviously we can do the educational part of it. We've also got athletic trainers that are on site that do all the taping, and so they've got the products in their hands and are able to, put it on any of the athletes that would either benefit for it or would like to try it. So the product's there for any athlete that would like to try it. And like I said, we're also on site for any education. A lot of these individuals are now getting involved with, other people as far as agents and things like that. And so they're very interested in and want to be educated in it so they can get it along. So those agents want to get it on their players and, make sure that they're getting taken care of as well.
As a businessman for something that is clearly proven and used by some of the biggest names in your respected field, being sports, I just keep thinking of your product as kind of like the shoelace of the world. Everybody wears shoes, but you look at shoes, you see them, but nobody looks at the shoelace and goes, those are really important, but who makes that? So what's, as a business owner or a VP of marketing, the person that's got to get the word out, what is the biggest challenge for you to get a product that everybody sees but nobody's aware enough to really ask what that is and to make people aware and educate them?
Well, you've nailed it right on the head. That is our biggest challenge, is that of education. Because of a lot of this, and you can really kind of think through this in your mind when you see it. This is tape. I don't get it. I don't understand it. It's got to be a placebo. This is tape. And like you said, why don't I just use duct tape? Why don't I just use the cellophane tape or something else? And so it's really an educational thing. And what we found, as soon as you can get it on a person, they totally change. It's an amazing thing to watch them go from almost doubting, and then you get the tape on them, to them saying, okay, I don't care what the science is anymore. This is amazing. It took away my pain. How do I get more?
Wow. So you've cracked the code there, and what's been the approach, so to speak, from there as far as the education? Is it just these events and seminars, or is there an actual advertising curve that you guys have picked up that you can also pitch your product through as well?
Yeah, so again, over the last 8 years, again, that's been a very difficult thing, because when you think about it, just kind of the conversation we've gone through, how do you tell that story in a 15 to a 30-second spot on radio, TV, and a magazine? But throughout all the efforts that have been done through, these different events that we've gone to, through the different marathons, from your Boston Marathon, your New York Marathon, where we're able to now see like 60,000 people as they're coming through the event and getting tape on quite a few of those. A lot of people are now starting to see it. You're seeing it on your Tom Brady's. You're seeing it on, Tiger Woods. And so the awareness now has reached the point that we really feel, and this last year we had just started it, but we're now, we've got 30-second spots on TV that we've gone out and tried for the first time, and we'll be redoing that again this coming 2019, where, again, we feel it's got to the point that it's just kind of a reminder now to show people that you don't have to be a high-end athlete. You can, you can be a grandma, you can be a grandpa that's having issues and want to be able to be more active. So this product's for everybody, and it's starting to get out there. And like I said, we've now breached that point that we're doing TV.
So the last question I have for you, and I don't even know if you'll know the answer to this, but it's something that is sort of a folklore legend in the NFL. There was a time Brett Favre had that ridiculously long starting streak where, come hell or high water, that man was going to start the game, and it's something that's been unmatched to this day, and a man who played in all the elements in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Now, there was a game where he actually went out and played a full game. I forget how well he did, but one of the things is that he would do anything to go out there. And one thing that he did that day was he took, I believe, a popsicle stick and taped it to one of his fingers. I don't know if it was his thumb, his index, or like a pinky, but do you know if it was KT tape that he used to tape the popsicle stick to his finger?
Yeah, I'm not sure that that's it, but behind all of those guys that keep them going like that are just amazing athletic trainers that take care of these guys. And like I said, we have great relationships with them and try to get all of our products in their hands so they're available for any time, any need that they're needed with these. And so that's why you'll see it pop up all the time on different athletes at different times. And but it's those athletic trainers that are behind them that just really keep these guys going. And so I'm sure as they got down to it and he wanted to stay in and wanted to keep active, that they thought through it and figured out put the splint with the popsicle stick and take that up. But not sure whether that was KT tape they used or not. Could just be a static tape that they used also.
I feel like he's probably a duct tape kind of guy, but what a story if it would have ended up being
a great story.
KT tape that was keeping that on there. Well, Ed, it has been incredibly educational. You sent me an email that I was trying to use bits and pieces from. There are a lot of words in there that I didn't know how to pronounce, so my apologies. But now that I have been thoroughly educated on not only your product, but just how it works, for athletes specifically, I'm very excited to continue to promote it here on these weekly episodes leading up to the big event down in Fort Worth, Texas. So I look forward to seeing you there. And again, thank you for sharing your product, what it does, and just the knowledge for future athletes. And we will see you in Fort Worth in about a month's time.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate your time and all your support. And like I've said before, if there's anything I can do to help support your efforts, just let me know, and we'll do whatever we can.
Sounds great, Ed. Well, I really appreciate it. I know that you've got a busy schedule, so I'll let you get back to it, but you enjoy the rest of your day.
Well, thank you. You as well.
Once again, big thank you to Ed Terris of KT Tape. Like I said, very informative, very educational edition of our weekly College Gridiron Showcase specials here on the F.A.N Show, and we are now officially 38 short days away, so just over the month mark. And I don't know if it's exactly hit me yet. It'll probably hit me at about a month out because my birthday is Saturday. And so once I'm past my birthday, I go and I bring up my awesome Christmas music mix list because I believe that, for the next 25 days, I should be able to listen to that confidently and not get tired of it until Christmas has come and gone, at which point I switch back. Those companies that start like before Thanksgiving or the day after Thanksgiving, sorry, can't do it. December is for Christmas and my birthday. So December, we start off with my birthday, then Christmas, and then January we get a new year and College Gridiron Showcase. So I'm pretty sure somewhere in there it will hit me and I will start to get very excited. So thank you again, Ed Terris, Jose Jefferson, and of course Craig Red, who so far have been kind enough to give us the time to go over all the information that you as potential athletes and future superstars need and why you should be at this event. 38 days. You might want to mark your calendars, and if you've got an agent or you have a person of contact, you might want to get on it. Say, hey, this event sounds really great. Let's do it. And do it. And we will see you in Fort Worth. Don't forget to tune in next week for an all-new weekly special for the College Gridiron Showcase. The only new weekly content coming out for the F.A.N Show right now. Our regularly scheduled episodes will have 4 best of that will be premiering every Wednesday at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific. But we wanted to get the hype train up and rolling for College Gridiron Showcase, and that's what these are for. So until next time, ladies and gentlemen, we will see you with an all-new episode of the College Gridiron Showcase weekly specials right here on the F.A.N Show.
Do you remember the time that Mark Sanchez ran into his player's butt? That was funny sports.
Thank you for having me on the show, man. I love the F.A.N Show.